Good afternoon. This is the Watchful Stoic. It's a beautiful, it's like a slightly overcast day here in Texas. It's quite windy at the moment, which is fine with me. It's 95 degrees outside, so it's cooling down a little bit. Although I think going into the weekend it might be a little bit more, might be a little hotter going into the weekend. Yeah, no, it was pretty cool this morning. It's a little like the Saharan dust that was pretty hyped on the news. Maybe we might see more of it tomorrow, but it seemed like it was pretty hyped. But yeah, no, it's a pretty good day. I'll be going over more of the book I've been reading, The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. Highly recommended. He doesn't sponsor any of these videos, but I still think it's a great book. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe before I jump into this stuff. If you like what I do, say something. Comment below. If you think other people could benefit from it, share it. If you like it, throw the thumbs up on there. If you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe to my channel. I'm kind of getting into the groove of things. It's a work in progress. But so today in my reading, I walk around. There's a little walking path near my work that I like to walk around during my lunch break. I don't actually eat lunch. I'm doing intermittent fasting at the moment, so I eat between the hours of 6 and 10 p.m. So lunch I don't really do, breakfast I don't really do, and then throughout the day I'll just have water. Water's good for you. It's great. Third rule of life: drink lots of water. It's a good rule. Rule number 7, figure it out. But anyway, into the book. Today I was reading about science as a religion. Now, some people will hear that and they'll instantly recoil. It's like, science isn't religion. Science is objective and factually based. No, it requires a little bit more context. The belief that the only things that are true are what you can measure is a form of religion as far as science is concerned. The refusal to believe anything that it cannot be seen, touched, or measured is fundamentally a religious perspective. Because you are closing yourself off to the possibilities of the reality of something that might not be measurable at the moment. There's I personally I don't ascribe to the whole ghost stories thing, but there might be some truth to it. I have no idea, but you'll have some wackos going out there with spectrometers to different haunted houses and measuring the different energy wavelengths at those locations, and that might hold some bearing and significance, but I don't know exactly how much. I just know that there are various energy wavelengths that are different in different locations of the planet, and that's probably how paranormal experiences occur. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but that's a guess. So in essence then, the belief that God cannot be real because we cannot see him, we cannot touch him, we cannot perceive, and we cannot measure his existence is fundamentally religious on its face. Just that, so atheism just as agnosticism, just as Christianity, just as Islam. They are all religions. They are all on their faces religions because they have to. There is a certain form of belief set that accompanies those particular religions. Now, he didn't necessarily mention those religions as being as the religions he was talking about, but a religion is our particular belief set and how we apply it to our daily lives. And those religions can involve the presence or non-presence of a god or the god or Allah or whoever. It's just that those particular methods of living, those belief sets, tend to shape how people function in society. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, you look at the fundamental Christian values, they certainly did provide a lot, like it's really, really significant positive effect on humanity in a lot of different ways. Now, before you start jumping in and say, well, what about the Holy Wars? What about, anything negative that happened? The Salem witch trials, the bigotry, XYZ. Those were done by people and not necessarily by God. Alright? Now, he goes in and he talks about three different cases, which, three different patients that he took on, and how religion affected them, and how specifically Christianity affected them. The first case was this woman who eventually grew away from God, grew away from Christianity, because her reliance on God and Christianity was a byproduct of how her mother raised her. And that because her dad was really pretty much never present and mom was the authority in the house, and mom said, we do not question the church ever, we do not question God ever, it caused immensely severe mental problems for her. So in the process of overcoming these mental problems, she had to come to terms with the fact that no, God did not want to punish her, or God did not want to kill her because of a few mistakes she made. But it was that her mother dominated her identity with a belief set. And that religion that was imposed upon her was not necessarily Christianity or God. It was the religion of her mother. The next case example was a woman that come in to see Dr. Peck, right? And she was the daughter of two hyper-intellectual atheists. And they were proud to be atheists, and she herself when she came into that office, was very proud to be an atheist. As the treatment went on, as the counseling went on, her identity being rooted in the expectations of her parents caused her to espouse those that kind of belief set, right? So really, how you're raised does play a huge part in what it is that you believe and how it is you behave and what type of mental schemas you have to deal with. In the case of this particular woman, the second woman, she grew up rich. She was often ignored, and she had she wasn't super fond. She didn't have a lot of satisfaction in life. But as she came to grow and understand more things in her life and her own identity, and growing past the old identity that her parents had set for her, she came to be able to enjoy life quite a bit more. She came to be able to understand more about herself, and she started branching out. She started wearing different clothing. She started doing more things. And at the end of her therapy, she said, it doesn't make sense that there is no God. So she went from being a devout atheist to saying it doesn't make sense that there wouldn't be a God. So oftentimes, the God that we have, the gods that we expose in our own minds, our own personal religions, the religion of me, the religion of you, the religion of your neighbor, even if we all believed in Christianity, the same everything Christianity, we all still have our own individual belief sets, and growing past that belief set is required in order to mature and grow into a spiritually mature individual. Even if that means believing that there is no God. There's nothing wrong with the idea of believing that there is no God in reference to this book. And this is I'm not going to make any moral judgments here, but I'm referring to the book here, that there is nothing wrong with being an atheist, as long as arriving to the idea of atheism is a matter of growth and not a matter of adopting someone else's belief sets. He, in reference to the first patient here, he did talk about how there was huge fault on the mother as well as the clergy of the church, where they imposed these belief sets on her and didn't actually help her grow into a belief set that would originate from her. The idea that belief needs to grow from you and not be imposed upon you is a separation that needs to be made. Because we will eventually grow our own belief sets, but oftentimes it's very reliant on other people. And then he had a third patient that it was a guy who was basically he grew up being picked on. He grew up with his parents taking things away from him and just being he was not let's just say he was not the favorite child. He was not the favorite child. And he was a very devout Christian until two things happened. One, he was in a relationship where he got dumped and he had his heart broken. And then two, his best friend died. Then as soon as that occurred, he related how his parents had treated him with his particular belief. Because he had, at the time that his friend died, he was still practicing as a Christian. And then he essentially went either agnostic or atheist. I don't think it was mentioned whether or not which one it was. But he did not have a very positive view of God. That's for sure. But as everything was going through, he related an experience where he got caught up. He was in a hurricane in Florida, where he went out to the docks or to a pier or something, which I don't know why you would want to ever do that in the middle of a hurricane, but this guy did, because I guess he was feeling suicidal at the time. And a big wave came and dragged him off the dock, and then he got spat back onto the beach, or spat back onto the dock by another wave. And he called that a little lucky. And one of the things that Dr. Peck said is, it's funny how you attribute all this pain and malice and the bad things that happen to you to God, but whenever something good happens to you, it's just a little luck. And in the effort to reconcile these two things, the guy eventually came to become more religious, and he eventually ended up becoming a clergyman later in his life. So, religion on its face is not necessarily bad. Borrowed religion is not necessarily bad, but only in effect that it leads you to adopt your own religion, right? There was a quote that that he said is in the book. It was very interesting. It says, "God is dead. Long live God." Which was it's very weird to think about it in that way. That once we kill the God of that we have borrowed from someone else in order to discover the real God, that is when we really start to truly grow spiritually. So whether that God is, actually the Christian God or the Buddhist or whatever, discovering the truth is a matter of throwing away our old borrowed identity, the identity we borrow from someone else, and then discovering our own selves and our own truths and our own God. And not truths as in the objective truth, but truths as in what is true about us and ourselves and what we think, believe, and want. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up there. That was I don't know if that was too complicated or if that was understandable, but if it was helpful or enjoyable or something that was thought provoking, like and comment, give me some love. Share my videos out. But anyway, yeah, subscribe to my channel. Anyway, I'm gonna call it good right there. And yeah, I love you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.